What's up, guys? So I posted on Instagram asking y'all to send in some questions for a Q&A video, and you submitted some awesome questions. So I'm looking forward to answering as many questions of yours as I can in today's video. Therese asks, why are you so pretty, smart, and sweet? Oh, Therese, you flatter me too much. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. I have to actually pull up the questions to answer them. Hold on, this is taking forever. Okay, got my phone, we're ready to go. So let's just dive straight into the questions. The first question is from Sarah. She says, what will you do to rebuild your practice back up after your maternity leave? So I'm planning on taking 2 to 4 months off for maternity leave just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, and I'm telling my clients I'll let them know about 1.5 months in what exact date I'll be returning within that window. So with that said, many of my clients are planning on continuing to stick with me and just waiting until after I return to start therapy again. There will be some clients who decide to kind of naturally end therapy or to maybe even move on to a different therapist, but most of my clients are planning on sticking around. So my bigger concern is less about how to market my practice and ramp back up once I'm back, and more about if I want to kind of ramp up a little bit slowly, how do I do that without feeling totally overwhelmed with a packed schedule? But I could see if I were taking a longer leave, that maybe more of my clients would move on from me, or if I wanted to hit the ground running, I would use a different strategy, in which case I would probably batch work a lot of marketing materials before going on leave. Things like videos and blogs and emails to be automated to show up while I'm on leave. So I'm not working, but it looks like I'm working, and just being available to take client calls while on leave. So that way I can let them know when I'm going to be returning, and those who are willing to wait for my return date, I'll just go ahead and schedule them once I'm back in action. The next question is from Haley. Hello, Haley. Thanks for your question. She says, how do you plan your blog posts and content, and do you have a workflow process you follow? I love this question because I love hearing about other people's workflow as well, and everyone is so different. So I'll just share with you my workflow, and I'll say my workflow this week because I'm always tweaking it and it's changing. So here's what my typical week looks like as far as content planning. I take weekends off, and then on Mondays, that's my private practice skills content day. In fact, it's Monday today, so I'm doing all the work that I'm talking about here today. And on Mondays, right now, I'm filming 2 videos to get ready for maternity leave, and I'm also moving next month at the time of filming this video. And I also do at least 1 blog post for private practice skills. Often I have time to do more than just those things, but if I only do that on a Monday, then great. And then on Tuesday through Thursday, I have work hours seeing my clients in private practice from 10:30 in the morning until 8:30 at night. So sometimes I'm doing things like editing videos in the morning, or if I have kind of a split shift schedule, which happens often, I might work some things in the afternoon as well. And then on Fridays, I see clients in the mornings only for a half day, and then I head to the beach for 6 hours because you know I'm all about going to the beach and taking time away, and then I do it all over again the next week. But who knows, I might have a different schedule next week. We'll see. Now, as far as planning out my content, all of my content flows from how I structure my videos. So rather than feeling like I need to plan out videos and then also blog posts and also weekly email and my Instagram posts, everything trickles down from my videos. So I invest heavily when I make a video to have some great content in that video, and I spend 5 to 8 hours per video start to finish. It's a whole process. But then once I have that video, I've locked in content that I can reuse over and over, so that down the line, I also use that video embedded into a blog post, and then I also use that content once I've posted that blog post as an email, and my little Instagram posts are just reflecting on my videos and blog posts, and then some other just happy reflections, because Instagram's really fun like that. Okay, the next question is from Sabrina. She says, where is a helpful place to start the journey to open your own private practice? Steps? Well, I'm so glad you asked this question because you just kind of threw me the slow pitch and set me up for a big one. I have a free guide all about how to get started in private practice. It's a very thorough checklist with links to my videos and blog posts all about how to do each of these steps. So I'm going to link to that guide in the description box and you can get access to it right away and start chugging along. Jacqueline asks, how do you take care of yourself after a long day in practice? What a good question. I get asked this quite a bit. And to be honest, I think the real answer to this question is less about what I do after a long day in practice and more about how I structure the long day of work itself. Back when I started private practice, I just took on whatever client would come see me. As long as I was qualified to help them, I would take any clients because I think that's what a lot of us do, right? And what ended up happening as a result of that is I would feel so exhausted by the end of the workday. So I've changed things drastically over the years such that at this point, I exclusively work with my ideal clients, which is a highly niched group of people. And the reason why I do this is one, I'm super equipped to help people within that niche, but two, I can work with lots of people in my caseload in this niche and just feel completely energized by the work because I love it that much. So most days, by the end of the workday, I'm coming home singing a happy song because I love my job that much. Now, of course, there are days where there's just heavy content, and it happens to all of us, of course, where we are just so exhausted from a long day. And I do have a little nighttime routine that really helps me on those days. So most nights I do cherish that evening time, even though I work until often 8:30 and don't get home until 9. I usually spend some time watching maybe an episode or two of my favorite YouTube travel vloggers, Kara and Nate. Shout out if anybody else watches them. My husband and I will watch them together. We also get into sometimes hours-long conversations together with my husband and with our dear housemate as well, which are really life-giving interactions. And it's just great to have community outside of the work that I do. And if I have other time beyond that, I often will knit and watch a favorite show. Queer Eye is a favorite right now, but you know, it's always something different on Netflix. Everybody, I just get so out of breath so easily because I'm pregnant. It's gonna be okay. Shayna asks, how do you schedule your time to get all the things done and stick to that schedule? My answer to this is actually pretty simple, and it's just that I hold my schedule rather loosely. So I know I broke down my schedule in that earlier question, but I really don't hold on tightly to having it need to go the way I have it set. So sometimes it's Wednesday and I still haven't filmed a video yet, but maybe I have a nice little 3-hour window in between clients in the afternoon, and so I'll film my video on Wednesday. And by being flexible and letting things slide if I need to, it allows me to maintain my schedule. Now, one way that I allow myself to be flexible is when I have the flexibility to do more than usual, I try to jump on that. So I'm doing 2 videos on most Mondays, but sometimes it's 0 videos on a Monday, and it's okay because maybe I have a backlog of other videos that I've already created. So it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to get this done now or else that content isn't going to happen this week. Hopefully that makes sense, and batch work is a wonderful thing. If you can do that, I support you. Still out of breath. Okay, the next question is from Grace. Do you make a comfortable living being a therapist? Now, I get asked this question quite often, and it is often framed this way, like it's a yes or no answer to this question, but really it varies widely, and most importantly, it depends on your values and where you decide to kind of set your sights. Because if you're working in private practice, sure, you can set your income and get things set up the way at the price point that you exactly want as far as your income, but you might be working for the county or government-based job, and often those pay a bit less, but maybe that's allowing you to lean into some other values. Maybe you're able to work with some people who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford seeing a therapist in private practice. You can also mix and match, like doing part-time of one and part-time of the other, so one has the income you want and the other is fulfilling in a special way, etc. So the ultimate answer is it really is up to you, but it is important that you do your research before diving into any career so that you know how much money you're going to make before you get into it. Because I have seen many therapists do something that they love, but it just doesn't pay the bills enough and they end up burning out. One point I'd like to make is I absolutely believe in therapists getting started in private practice, knowing what income they can expect to make before they ever pay a dime to get started in private practice. And I have an entire video that goes over how to do that so that you're not surprised by what your paycheck looks like once you're started in private practice. You can find that linked up here or in the description below. Well, I hope you loved hearing my answers to these questions as much as I've enjoyed answering them. I'm curious, let me know in the description box what you think of this format of Q&A video, and that helps me know if I should make more like this in the future. Until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well.